Is Fortnite Chapter 7 an A or an F? I'm just going to touch on some of the stuff that everybody's kind of touched on already just to get it out of the way. And then I'll focus on more so of what I haven't heard being said. Everybody's talked about the battle bus being broken and the surf mechanic being in here now. And yeah, that is something that I think they kind of botched. It was kind of cool that they did something new, but the way they implemented it was pretty poor. It wouldn't let you get very far into the island and just bunch you up with so many other people. You could get a little extra height, but even then it was still pretty lackluster. And then you were limited to where you could even be in the map. So that was a big downer. It's just a very kind of crappy mechanic that's in the game that should just be in for the one week or so that it was in the game, and then they need to retire that and just bring back the battle bus for good. Now let's just jump into where I think the biggest problems are with this season of Fortnite. What I'm going to talk about now is really geared around zero build. Builds is not as much of a big deal since you get to throw up all that stuff around you, but with zero build, mobility is key. And this is something that they ruin almost all the time in zero build. Either they'll make the mobility so overpowered to where it's a must-have, and then they limit it to where it's hard to even get it, or they'll just make it to where it's so hard to get mobility at all, or it's just trash mobility. And once again, this season kind of falls into the latter. The mobility is not like dreadful, but once again, the main thing is the shocks, which it is a good mobility. But once again, they're so limited. They're kind of available decently at the same time, but it's so random. Sometimes I'll play a game to where I'll find more shocks that I can even handle. But then there's some matches where I'll go an entire game and search like 30 chests, like no exaggeration, to where I will never even find a thing of shocks. And it's insane that you can go through that much looting and never find a thing of shocks in zero build. Zero build, you have to have mobility. The mobility is equivalent to materials in the build mode. And Fortnite seems to just not understand this, and they get it wrong all the time. Like, it should not be a challenge to ever find mobility in zero build. It should be one of the most like abundant things, really. It doesn't have to be like super crazy to where it's just shocks nonstop to where you're just shocking endlessly, but it shouldn't be a challenge either to find mobility. And then some people will say, well, the mobility is not horrible, and it is kind of easy to find because they do have the jetpack. Well, not the jetpack, but the wingsuit rather. And you can kind of find the wingsuit regularly, but the wingsuit is not that great. And versus good people, it's so easy, well, relatively easy, to laser people out of the sky with this thing. The charge up takes so long in situations to even take flight, then you're so vulnerable. And then if anyone that's around that has good aim, chances are you're getting shot out of the sky. So it's just kind of mid-tier mobility. It's not horrible mobility, but it's kind of lackluster. It's very dangerous to use. So some people might not even run it because of how dangerous it is. So then you're basically limited to shocks. There is the sword, but once again, the sword is just limited. There's only so many swords on the map. It's not like there's 20 swords even available. There's only a handful that you can even get. There's a few portals, and then you can kill a few NPCs to get the sword, and that's it. So like, some matches are just so random. Like, I'm searching basically the entire match to find some mobility. And in zero build, especially the way it's set up now, it's like impossible to live without being able to get out of there because it's so third-party centric this season. The map is smaller, and the third parties are crazier than probably the Simpsons season. And then they take the cars as well to where the cars are almost out of the game almost. They've limited them so much. They're so easy to melt down. You could just melt them like butter. And then the biggest thing is that the gas, at least on the car, is like so bad. It's like they get a mile per gallon. They're empty in just like seconds. And it's something that's very annoying because I know that there's those people that like to just be in a car and ride around and do nothing. But a lot of your good people that actually are really good at zero build are wise in using cars, me included. It's a big part of my gameplay, really, because some people all complain, and it's just their problem that they're not. I don't want to sound like stuck up, but like they're just not like smart enough to use the cars. They burn up all their mobility and stuff trying to traverse the map, and then they're in the open as well. But like for me, I use the cars to fight with, to get around quickly, and then their mobile cover as well. And then they're good to use it as like part of your fighting system if you know how to car fight well. So like I can conserve a ton of my mobility and get around the map faster and fight people so much more frequently with cars. But now you can't even like use cars basically anymore because they're hardly even in the game. The gas is next to nothing, and then the gas stations are slim to none as well. So it's like they don't even want cars in the game. And a lot of it stems from streamers always complaining, it seems, about the cars. But a lot of the same like streamers, not all of them, they use cars at the same time. Yeah, it is kind of annoying having a person that just runs away, but it's just those streamers, they just want to kill the person more easily. But now, on the flip side, instead of having like good mobility that you can use in mobile cover to get around the map and actually explore the map better and get into fights better and have a better paced game, it's so campy to where there's so much bush camping and just like sitting at the very edge of the circle and just like sniping from the hilltops with a sniper rifle or something. It's all that people do. It's just so much camping. It's just bush camping has taken over. It's like the new meta is just a bush camp till the end, because there's so many bushes as it is. A lot of people aren't that great at the game in terms of their fighting skills, so like they're scared to do anything, so it's just a bush camp festival. So like they've traded having any cars hardly for bush camping and just sitting around on a mountaintop and stuff. And with the sporadic mobility, this game is so third-party centric right now that a lot of these fights, even with mobility, you might not even get out of there. But if you don't even have shocks, there's no way you're getting away after you've just fought one hard fight, and maybe you've just fought 2 or 3 people back to back, and then another person's jumping on you. And that's what this season is like. It's just constant third party, fourth party, fifth party, sixth party. It's just insane the amount you get jumped. And then you might have used whatever shocks you had chasing down the first person, so now you're just grounded. You can't move, you can't do anything, and you just got to take the loss. And maybe that's what they want, is to have it where your better players can't really move around after they've killed people. That way they're more vulnerable to third parties and lesser skilled players, so they can be killed off and give other people a better chance. Another thing that I was mentioning about with the mobility, you have basically three things if you don't count the cars. You have the sword, the shocks, and the wingsuit. The wingsuit, as I stated, is very mid-tier. The shocks are always great, as long as you can find them. And then the sword is so limited. And when you have it this limited, once again, like, the person that is able to get the sword is at such a big advantage again. Like, if you're going to put the sword and stuff in the game, make it available to everyone so people can get around as well. It's just, once again, making things unbalanced. They're trying to balance stuff out, it seems, with the matchmaking and then the way the gameplay has become. But then when there's these items, especially mobility and zero build, they always mess it up. And you can't have an item that's so powerful like the sword where only like a handful of people can get it. Now on to the next topics. This season has so many glitches. For one, the game crashes literally every 2 or 3 games on me. It has crashed probably 40 or 50 times, no lie, on me. The amount of glitches are crazy, and they're some of the wildest glitches I've ever seen. There's characters that'll have no head for the entire match. They'll be in a T-pose the whole time, like, or I'll fight other people that are just sliding around in the T-pose. Sometimes the players, their heads will be like they're not attached to the body. They're just like floating above their chest. It's just out of control. The skins, like, if you choose a skin and just like touch another skin with your cursor, it shows that skin. It's just an absolute mess with so much of the glitches this time. There are some things that Fortnite got right this season. It's cool that they added aim down sights when you're jumping and in the air and stuff. That was a cool addition. I'll give it to them on that one. The revive thing is something kind of cool. It can be kind of annoying, but it's kind of a neat thing to have in the game. I'm kind of split of how I feel of it inside of solos, but regardless, it's not a terrible thing that's in the game. The weapons, although they're not the most like exciting weapons, I will give it to them that it's at least pretty balanced. The medallions this time are nothing crazy either, which is it's a nice touch. Plus, it takes a while to even pick it up, so it's not like it just makes everyone want to go to one POI and then they're super overpowered either. So that was a plus. So let's quickly recap. The mobility is pretty lackluster this season. I would put that definitely in the bad category. It's a camp fest and a third-party fest. And then the weapons, they're not the most exciting, as I stated, but they're fairly balanced, so they did a decent job with that. And then the glitches are horrible. That's got to be an F. Like, I would just say an F. Like, with the crashing, it has to be an F. And then the battle bus situation. With the battle bus back in, keep the battle bus. The surfing was like a D. And then overall, I would say this season right now, I would give it like a C. And that's kind of being nice, but I would say a C. Initially, I was thinking it was probably like a C- or D+, but I've come around a little bit, so I'll give it a C. It's by no means amazing. It's not like trash. Once again, it has potential, but there's a lot of stuff they need to fix. It's by no means a great season, and it's not an absolute failure of a season. It has potential, but they got to fix a lot of stuff. So there's my grade. It's a C for now. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll have more topics in the future. I'll try to be a lot more regular in the future. I haven't posted a video in a while. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again. See ya.